They just don't do it. But anyway, muscle memory, that's what we want to talk about. Psychological muscle memory, all kind of your body, your mind have things that it go through that if you go through it over a long period of time, if you go through it again, the period is very short. Period is very short. Like building muscles, if you got a 20-inch arm and you lay off for a year or two, it takes you a few months, because that happened to me when I went to the county and it was out on the farm for 3 months maximum. Man, I got so big, it was unbelievable, because that's what I was doing out there, just working that iron, doing them pulls, you know what I mean? Got all that iron on that, 400 pounds. One pull, that mean they pull a quarter, that mean down to 350. 1, 2, pull, down to 300. I mean, and you working like that, you get seriously strong. Well, I went out there, and when I came home from the county, yeah, I was bigger than I was when I came from home from the penitentiary. Muscle memory. Your muscles have memory, And it used to happen all the time. If you're busy running around the country and, like you're running in the hills, maybe it don't take you but 3 or 4 days to get back where you was, or a week maximum to get back where you was really, because when I used to be driving on the highway, I would see them trails and fences and them animal trails where the cattle would be, and I would look at them. I said, man, I sure everyone I saw, I would want to run that. You know what I mean? And so anyway, sometime when you're traveling, you don't get time to do what you want to do. You got to place. But when you get back, your body remembers where it's already been. It's like you don't even have to. All you got to do is put it out and let it loose, and it'll go back to where, where it feels comfortable. And then it'll go beyond that. Okay, so muscle memory. Also, let's think about movement memory. And I mention this to not talk about muscles, but talk about movement. Because we're in a different stage. And in this stage, this is we call stage 1. Within so many months, we'll be fully at stage 1. It'll be a full-fledged Imam Strategic Management Center, all that right next door. That's what it's going to be. It'll have full carpet. It'll have all the gadgets that we need, you know what I mean, for modern times. Yeah, it'll be right there. And a sub-center will be right in there, getting that together right now, and everything else that we need. We'll have it nice if somebody comes from out of town, they can stay up there. They can do it. We got it all. It's all planned. You know what I mean? And it won't be no time to get there. And the masjid and everything, it won't take no time to do it because we've already been there before. So it's not only muscle memory, but movement memory. The thing for us to prepare for is movement memory. Who's going to be coming, where they coming from, who sent them, and how to relax and enjoy the thing. Okay? What is boss man going to do? He's going to do what he always did. How to relax. How to enjoy all the people. How to not, I know that nigga's the police. I know. Huh? So what? They've been the police all the time, and look where them dummies are. Look where they are. I mean, realistically, look where they are and look where we are. I would rather be where we are than where they are. The system? How could a system grow in ignorance? Everything that they could do right now to fix what they're doing, they refuse to do it. and don't want you to do anything about it. They don't want you to fix it. So I said, man, these is when they talk about the people of the past I said, these are, man, they make Pharaoh and them look like kitty pies. Pharaoh was a fool, but these guys here have more data and more information than Pharaoh did. So they're outdoing Pharaoh in ignorance. They got artificial intelligence foolishness. They know how much salt is in the water in the ocean and how much plastic is out there and how long it would take to get rid of it. They'll go build more ships to kill people than to use all them ships to pull big barges with whole type of living spaces and gardens and clean up. They could have a whole train full of stuff pulling them big aircraft carriers, right? And one, it cleans up all the stuff and put it up on the thing. And then you could have 5 or 6 living quarters or 2 living quarters. You can go out there on the ocean with a park. You can put a park on them big barges. That aircraft carrier, pull it, right? A big park, trees, everything out on the ocean. So people will be out there so many months or whatever. They got all that is right there on this big 100 bar, go all the way down there and way down there, and they just pull it with the aircraft carrier. They won't do it. They clean up the ocean, pack it up, put it over on this one. You could have a running track out on the ocean, right? You could do all of that, and you run down there. It's got nice trees out on the ocean. Movie theaters, everything. Out on those big barges, you can walk one barge. This is the lunchroom bar, and it'd be so far away you have to walk down to it, right? No escalator right? So you get exercise no matter what. If you walk for a mile down that way through these other things, you didn't fix it up. Now they have a little snack thing on everything, but if you want to eat a real dinner, you got to walk down there. So automatic exercise, and you're walking through trees and everything out on the ocean. Why? Because you can do that. They won't do nothing. They won't do nothing. They won't do nothing. Okay? So where does that put us? We want to fix things. That puts us on the bad side. That puts us, the boss man don't want this fixed. And you want to fix it? We're teaching hate and you're teaching love? Oh, good God Almighty. Right? We're on the opposite end of everything that they are. Therefore, we expect, just like what we got now, expectations. We said when we came here 25, 30 years ago, man, it's been a while. But it don't seem like a long time ago. We expected if we last 5 years here, boy, we're going to be on a roll. If we said we're going to get the whole game, that means you're going to learn all of what you need to learn during that period to do whatever it is you got to do. Well, we not only lasted 5 years, we lasted on and on and on and on. And it's all been an educational experience. So we're in charge of ourselves. If you'd have been there the day before yesterday, you'd have saw them Negroes pulled up. You would have recognized every one of them. And some of them was looking at me like, this nigga is still active. This is the energy bunny. This nigga, clang, 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 and I be wanting to tell them, no, it's not the energy bunny. We the energy Negro. We're not, if you thought we was gone, we was just taking it easy for a while. Rest and recuperation. And ain't nobody gonna, hey man, we back. And they was looking, and then Negrotious come over and he's talking to you, so I already assessed to what he sent to da 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 da. And I mean, see, because I know them and they got this stuff planned. And they're going to feel around. They're going to look. I don't care. They're going to feel around.
He was hovering for a good 15 minutes before I said something to him. He was kind of hovering around. And, I just started up conversation with him because I didn't want to, I was starting to get uncomfortable. Someone was hovering around me.
No. Here's the thing. Don't. First of all, you got to have confidence in what you're doing. First of all, what we're doing, have nobody ever done anything like this before. Nobody. Nor did they have time. No, we did what King was working on 50 years ago. The same time he was working on it, we was pulling it off in California, right? But it wasn't a time for that to work. It wasn't a time for the Negro to have big employment and for him to control his own neighborhood. Boss Man had another plan. At that time, Boss Man's plan was still in effect. Boss Man his stuff was still working. Okay, now it ain't working. Look, it don't make no difference. They could talk all day till their mouth turn white. Boss Man stuff is not working. Ours is. And we have the characteristics of hilarity. There's no meanness, there's no hatred, there's no spite. Whether Boss Man understands it or not, or whether he cares, it doesn't make any difference. We know that we're not going to do anything based on hate, because hate is not that ain't. We already seen what that does. We had a little taste of it ourselves just to see, because when Boss Man harass you for a while, you get a little mad for a couple of months, and then you say, I looked at a picture once. I said, that nigga there. I looked at that face. I said, that ain't me. Of course it was physically. And I realized right then, I said, I'm getting out of this. That ain't me. What's the sense of living a life and you look at that nigga there all, you know. And the white man said, what is it you gain the world and lose your soul? What if you some other that nigga there? I ain't with that. Hey man, that's the biggest, you don't get stuff no bigger than that. To realize what your character is, and then you say, well, I'm going to deal with that. I like that. Other people always got something they got to get to, some place they got to go, or something. They ain't never satisfied with nothing. They always, or if they satisfied, like people work in the post office, they hold them there until they got 2 more months to live. And it's like they got it on a measure. I was talking to Brother Tufel about it. Like he had a brother he said his brother did such, and he got, as soon as he was up in his 80s, he said, well, okay, I'll now take my 85% or something or another, and you die the next year. Boss Man is mean. Boss Man, look, I don't care that boy got sitting there at the computer. He got all the numbers, and whatever hey man, he gonna hold on to you till there ain't nothing else left. As soon as you get out of what he done set up for you to get into, you gonna collapse. In 2 weeks, 2 years, I think some of them make it 5 or 10 years. They don't go nowhere. They've been on the plantation so long, they drive down to this end of the plantation and drive back. Boy, one of them nice Cadillacs, the older people, they like them Cadillacs with Vogue tires. Old time Negroes, and they don't go nowhere. They don't, and I look at people, I say, you ain't never been to Japan? Japan? How about Mexico? Mexico? Mexicans in Mexico. I said, so I look at people, I said, Have you ever been to Niagara Falls? Niagara Falls, all that water, run over nigga, drown him. I ain't going. I said, so ain't no sense of me asking you about Musa Tunji, over there at the Great Falls. Have you ever seen the Nile? No. That's a river, ain't it? I said, yeah, it's a river, What about Machu Picchu? The hidden lost city of the Incas? The Negro ain't been nowhere. He go to a barbecue. I said, we're at barbecue, man. Then we down there, my mama down in Carolina. Another nigga in Virginia. And then I said, that's a big scope. That's a big scope. And then you realize why don't nobody know nothing. Not only they don't know their own environment, they definitely don't know